started.
Shalom, shalom, everyone. This is Yisrael with another edition of the School of Knowledge. This is our Sabbath day class. We'd like to tell you welcome. You know, we have a lot of people on this line, people that we don't know, some people whose phone numbers are not displayed, and that's what this is. Anyone can call in, anyone can listen, anyone can participate. We say welcome, you know, and shalom, shalom, and we want to get started. Right now we're having a conversation before we actually go into the class information, and this is very important. But, you know, we have to always remember that no matter what, the Most High keeps His word. He honors His word. He's not going to let His word come back void ever. He's never going to let that come back void. And He does not want you to get comfortable in this place because religion has given us a false sense of security. It really has, you know, and it's been a holding place. It has held us until He has opened up our eyes. But again, we say to everyone, we are not a religion, we are a nation. We are a nation in exile, and we are not a religion. You know, so I want to make that very clear. I know some of you may have your pastors on the line. We have invited some pastors on to this line and all of those good things, but we want to make sure that we put that on the record. Oh, and AB is here. Shalom, shalom. We want to make sure we put that on the record that we are not a religion. We are a nation in exile. We have a theocratic government, which means we have an Elohim that rules us. He has given us a law that governs us as a people, and that law is being told to our people that it is done away with. You know, and our response to that is, how is our law done away with, but you keep the heathen's law? Because you do keep that law, and a lot of people don't know what the law is, so therefore they haven't really researched it. But it's a law that was given to the Hebrew Israelite people to govern their behavior. That is what it was.
That is correct.
So we want to make sure, and also to honor His high holy days and to observe our dietary law. And then we also have our sacrificial law and our judgment law, which we are no longer under at this point. But I want to make sure that we cover all of those things because we have to understand who we are and what we are. And the beautiful thing about it is I am so glad I went in this direction because I know what I told you all last week, and I said we was going to do the Christians first, and we are. We're just going to do a different set of the Christians because today I want to do the Catholic Church.
Oh, okay, good.
I'll put that together. I put that together for the Catholic Church. I want to do that because we have to understand, you know, the things that have been done and the things, or as a result of where we are at this point. Because it's really serious, you know. It's really, really serious. You know, and another thing that I want to say, and I really want you guys to hear, when you all go on the YouTube and you go searching for end-time prophecies that the Gentile religious people put together, and they proclaim dates, and they tell you by this certain date this is going to happen, or by this certain date these going to line up and all this stuff going to happen, please, I'm asking you, please pray to Yah about it, because 9 times out of 10, and I'm giving them some grace with that, it's not true. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they base all of their prophetic information on the fact that the Hebrews are already in the land. And that's not true. We know that's not true. So please be careful. Don't sell all your stuff. Again, don't sell all your stuff. Again, don't sell all your stuff. Don't quit your job. Don't pack up your stuff and go nowhere. Because we've seen many dates come and go. Many. And that's something that they are doing because they're trying to speculate and they're trying to come up with, they're trying to advance prophecy when it cannot be done. There is an order that the Most High put in order, and that's the order that He wants it to be in. So I want to share that with you. Be very careful with what you hear, what you do. Don't sell all your stuff, and don't quit your job. Hey, anybody else have anything to say? Because, Friday I was done. I was just for a second. And I just said, I quit. I just quit. And I felt so bad after I said it. It took me from saying it to walking into the next room. I was apologizing. Like, I'm so sorry. I don't quit. I won't quit. I'm going to hang in there. I ain't going to quit. But you really should do something about this. But it's just a bit much. And like I said, it's not the heathen or the Gentile, because I put them in their prospective places because everybody has a part to play. It's the Israelites that get to me. It's the men. It's the camps. And one day I'm going to take the time again and do another YouTube clip again, about this whole woman issue, because I'm tired of it. It just irritates me to no end. And it gets me because, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share you what my frustrations are. When you go to Galatians chapter 2, and I pulled it up and I was like, okay, you go to Galatians chapter 2, it talks about the order of things and how the Most High put things in order. And I think it is verse 8. And it says, Galatians chapter 2, it says, for he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the Jews, the circumcision or the Israelites, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentiles. So according to us that believe in the New Testament, because again, we're a nation and we have both Messianic and non-Messianic, we respect everyone's decisions. It's a decision that you have to make for yourself one way or the other. We know that in the New Testament, he gave the keys to Peter. Am I right?
That's what
somebody.
Yes.
He gave the keys to Peter. Yep. And then he turned around and called Paul to the Gentiles. Now, I'm going to go to my lesson. I'm going to get there real quick. I had just heard one of the preachers, the street preachers, because I have it on at night, and I usually fall asleep with it on, and I just happened to wake up that morning for work and heard the tail end of it. And this sister was talking to this brother. He was a street preacher. And he said, you know what your problem is? You need to learn how to keep your mouth shut. He said that's the problem with black women. They don't know how to keep their mouth shut. He said because it's a sin for a woman to speak, and it's a sin for a woman to teach. Now, right then and there, my blood went to boiling because I'm upset at this point. Like, okay, prove that. And he went to Paul. He went straight to Paul when Paul was setting up the church for the Gentiles. I said, now, wait a minute, y'all. Either Peter was called to the Israelites or Paul was called to the Israelites. One thing about y'all, he's not confused about anything. He's very particular in his teaching. He's very particular in the order of things, and Peter was given to the Israelites, and Paul was given to the Gentiles. Now, what they're doing is they're taking the teachings of Paul and asserting them on the Israelite people because now they're saying, oh, no, there were Israelites scattered all over the world, and they thought they were Gentiles. So, therefore, Paul wasn't really sent to the white people or the Gentiles or Esau or whoever they were. He was really sent to the Israelites, and Paul is also the prophet for the Israelites. You can't have it both ways. Yah was very clear in Galatians chapter 2 when he set the order. Peter is the apostle to the Israelites, and Paul was the apostle to the Gentiles.
Right.
And I just got heated for a minute. I said, what about the scriptures that said I'm going to pour out my spirit on all flesh? Young men and young women shall prophesy. Old men shall dream dreams, and young men shall see visions. What about that scripture? Y'all just disregarded that one completely? They're making this into something that's one-sided, and it's very sexist. And I feel really sorry for the women in Israel, because it's just to the point where it's just annoying. I love to see my brothers on the street corner with a Bible. I think it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I think it is a beautiful thing. And then the lady was with her husband, and he said, wait a minute. The husband said, well, wait a minute. In the Old Testament, he used women. He said, what about Deborah and all those? Oh, that was back then, see. In the Old Testament, yeah, he used women. He said, well, even in the New Testament, when Christ was doing his ministry, women were involved in helping in that as well. Oh, well, yeah, they were in there helping it for real, but after he died and resurrected, all that changed, and Paul was able to say what he said.
Yes. Shalom.
They're bringing the Christianity back off into it, sounds like.
Oh, my goodness, I hit the roof. I got up, I said, y'all quit. I quit.
Sister Yaina.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question. I have a brother here that has a question about your statement.
Okay. Say that again now, I didn't hear you. You had what now?
Okay. Well, you got to say. Just say it loud enough. Just say it loud enough. Just say it loud enough. Really? Okay, so the statement is that Paul was an apostle for Christ.
Right, sent to the Gentiles.
His target was not just for the Gentiles.
That's not what the scripture said. I just read Galatians chapter 2, verse 8. That's not what the scripture says. The scripture said Peter was the apostle to the circumcised, which is Israel, and Paul was the apostle to the Gentiles, the uncircumcised, which were those who were not Israel.
That's correct.
That's what the scripture says. That's not me talking.
Mm-hmm.
But because we don't want to come to the consensus that we have to do this together. Now, I don't believe that women should be out on the street corner. I believe that men are supposed to do that. I love to see my brothers on the street corner with that Bible in their hand. I mean, it don't get no better than that. But it just seems like there is a spirit that's there that's causing the problem and the division between the men and the women. And you're using that same scripture that was dealing with the Corinthian church, because let me tell you something about the Christian church. These women come out learned. Some of these women are pastors. They're going to come into this thing learn. You're not going to be able to spill that over into this. It's not going to work. It's going to be a bigger division than you can ever begin to imagine, because you're not going to be able to justify it. It's not going to be justified. There's so many things that you all don't know about this thing that when the Most High reveals it to you, you're going to have to apologize to some of these sisters for real. And it's not that we're trying to take over or we trying, but he said, I'm going to pour out my spirit on all flesh. Mm-hmm. But they skip over that part. And then when you deal with the Old Testament, they say, well, what about Deborah? We just read about Deborah not too long ago.
Right. Correct.
They don't even say nothing about that when they just act like it don't even exist. And she had a husband. But I don't want to spend that on this today. I want to get on the topic. But I just wanted to share with you all why I was so upset the other day. I was like, I ain't going to be able to do this. Because, sometimes you feel like you're by yourself. But, hey, I'm up for the challenge, because I'm not going to fight with nobody. I'm not going through that. I'm not, because I love my brothers. I love them.
Yeah.
I'm not partial to any one particular group. I love them all, because anybody that's out there trying to do anything in this day and time, it takes some show enough guts. For real.
Yes.
It do.
My sis.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my brother is a little bit confused on the verbiage. Did you say Galatians 2:4?
Galatians chapter 2, verse 8.
Verse 8, okay.
All right, here we go. All right, we're going to get into the story. Remember, last week we did the topic on the deception, the great deception. And the reason why we're doing this on the great deception is because we're getting ready to go into that time where the deception is coming. Last week we did it on the Mahdi. And that is the Messiah that's coming from the Muslim standpoint.
Right.
And we went through that, and it was very interesting how that is set up, to look like he is going to work hand-in-hand with Christ. But I wanted to do, and I was going to do the church. I was getting ready to do the Christian church on the whole rapture thing, but I decided to hold off on that because I want to do the Catholic church today. I really do. I want to do the Catholic church today. All right, so this is the Great Deception. Sister Lavia, are you going to read for me today, or you need for me to do it? I guess you can't hear me. Hold on, let me go. It says the Great Deception Part 2, the 3 different messiahs. All 3 are black. All 3 are coming from the sky. All 3 of them. And it may be even more than that. I'm just covering just these particular 3. So we're dealing with this right now. And now it says the Pope is to declare that the aliens are coming, apparently. I told you all, this is our supernatural day. This is how it's set up. You know, for some people it may be too much. A lot of people hang up when we start talking about this because they cannot deal with it. But like I said, if you want the references where I got my information from, you can email me at the Yehudah Project at gmail.com. And Yehudah is spelled YEHUDAH at the Yehudah Project at gmail.com, and I'll send you the references so you can find that, so you can read it for yourself. A lot of information here. What does that have to do with the Messiah? Somebody tell me what you think that has to do with the Messiah. Anybody know? Nobody? Okay. Well, we're gonna keep going. And this is an interactive class, so please don't feel like you have to be quiet. If you disagree, say you disagree. If you agree, say you agree. However you want to do it, you know, this is how it's set up. Please talk. I mean, you know what I'm saying, if you want to. We can't.
Okay, so I have a question. So can you repeat the question again?
I said the Pope is to declare the aliens are coming. What does that have to do with the Messiah?
Oh, okay.
I think that they're coming to claim that they're the ones that created man, and they're the ones that's coming to save them and to make things better for them.
To make things come back. That's a very good perception. That's very good. This is Rome. For you all who don't know what Rome is, this is what Rome looks like. It is the most wealthiest place in the world. And it's the smallest place in the world.
And the most powerful.
And the most powerful place. Rome has not gone anywhere. Like we said last week, you can always visualize Rome. It can be in the raggediest neighborhood in any inner city, and you can tell the Church of Rome. The streets is beautiful. The doors is mahogany. The stained glass windows, the concrete is absolutely perfect. Wrought iron fences around it. You can tell Rome. We have a cathedral here in Cincinnati, and when we were walking in there, we just used to walk in there and just observe the gold. Everywhere you turned, it was gold. The handles on the doorknobs was gold. You know, they just gold all in it. All the fixtures was gold. I mean, it was something.
So where did they get all their wealth? And where did they get all their wealth?
Well, that's ours.
Somebody just answered your question. What'd you say, ma'am? Who just answered that?
That's me, Sister Candace. I said it belongs to us.
That's ours.
Yes, slavery. Yeah.
Yeah, that's ours. That's ours.
70 A.D., they had that picture where the Romans, they have a mural of the Romans taking out all the stuff. The Bible speaks about that they took, that God said that they took everything of his.
Right, and then in Joel 3, he's going to come
when they cleaned out,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Beautiful place. I mean, when I tell you beautiful, I mean beautiful. Nothing to play with. Until we looked on the outside of the door and the crosses was upside down. And I remember I was at work and I said, do you know the cathedral doors, the crosses is upside down? And the lady that was sitting next to me, she must have been Catholic. She said, no, they're not. I said, yes, they are. I said, don't believe me, go see. She said, I am. When I get off work, I'm going to see that for myself. And sure enough, she called the news channel. And they interviewed the Pope. They said, why in the world are the crosses on the doors upside down? She said, I don't know. The lady said, what do you mean you don't know? He said, I don't know. And he left it like that. Everybody questions him again.
What about that telescope that they have in Arizona? The one they call
I'm on there. Now you can ready to steal my thunder. Now you stealing my thunder.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Here is some of the Roman cathedrals. Guess what? A lot of the Israelites died in these cathedrals.
Yeah.
They was torn apart by animals, by dogs, by all kinds. It was a sport. Can you imagine people sitting in a cathedral watching animals come out of a cage and people balled up together in a corner? I mean, balled up together in a circle, scared of what's going to happen, and these people actually watch these animals tear these people apart limb by limb?
Yeah.
Was it called a cathedral?
Gladiators?
Coliseum, yeah.
Were we the gladiators?
Mm-hmm. Were we the gladiators? I'm sure some of us were. That's the ones
that fought all the animals. Remember they used to have, you would see in the movies where they had, like the gladiators fighting the animals. Some would be riding on chariots and some would be, standing in the arena,
I'm sure some of
fighting
us
the
were.
animals.
I'm sure some of us were. I'm sure they were.
Yeah, they were a part of the people that put on a performance for those games, yeah.
Mhm.
Don't that remind you of football?
That was us there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you look at most of the coliseums today where the sports are being played, most of them are in the same circular fashion.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
They are. They really are.
They are.
Mm-hmm. What does that remind you of? Somebody tell me.
Football.
No, I'm talking about the cross.
Football.
The Most High said you're going to be made to serve other gods or what?
Wood and stone.
Wood and stone. A wood and stone. All right, here we go. The Catholic Savior, Rome. In a highly anticipated press conference on February the 22nd, NASA declared that 7 Earth-sized planets had been discovered orbiting a relatively close dwarf star. The Vatican and Lucifer. Did you know the Vatican is working with Lucifer? It is true. The Lucifer Binocular Telescope. Is that what you was talking about, sis?
Yes. Yes.
Here it is. This is what it looks like. Everybody get a really good look. Because I'm getting ready to prepare you for something. Something that you have to be prepared for. Very important. I know we've been talking about this a long time. And a lot of people say, you're the only one to talk about this. I'm sure I'm not. And I don't profess to be a scholar or anything. I'm just getting some information for you. But these are things that we have to be prepared for. This is a part of the Great Deception. Because everybody's waiting on somebody, and they're all supposed to be coming from the sky. Mm-hmm. The Christians are waiting on Jesus. The Muslims are waiting on the Mahdi. The Catholic people are waiting on something else. And I want to share it with you. We're going to put it all together because one thing we cannot be is deceived. But guess what? The scripture said the deception is going to be so great that if it weren't so, the very elect would be fooled.
If it were possible.
If it were possible.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. The Lucifer Telescope. This instrument is attached to the University of Arizona Large Binocular Telescope located on Mount Graham in southeastern Arizona. The Vatican-owned Vatican Advanced Technologies Telescope is right next door. Watch. A new tower for study. This new tower for studying the stars has been erected during the 15th year of the reign of John Paul II on this peaceful site so fit for such studies, and it has been equipped with a new large mirror for detecting the faintest glimmer of light from a distant object. With the help of God, this is what he said, may whoever searches here night and day, the far reaches of space use it joyfully with the help of God. Controlling the narrative. Through owning all of the information coming from the heavens along with NASA, they have been able to steer and control the narrative that we all learn about what is and has been going on in our universe. So we have to come to that conclusion that we know that no matter what's happening, this information has been controlled. And we're going to get into who's been the one controlling it. They own the books. The Vatican also owns most of the early books of antiquity on astronomy, as well as owning the most patents on celestial observatories. Strange for an organization who was adamant of a geocentric universe. All right. The end of the Dark Ages. Why would they set up the earliest observatories right at the end of the Dark Ages that continue to this day, some 500 years later, if they were so dead set on maintaining that the earth was the center of the universe? They've been doing this for 500 years. That's a long time. Wonder why? Anybody have any idea why? Anybody know? Watch what it says. The 500-year lie. The 500-year great lie can easily be understood in that the Vatican, the Royal Society of London, and Nazi Germany run NASA have controlled all the information from space about our place in the universe and all stories related up until this very day.
Mm-hmm.
They've been controlling the whole thing. Science in the Vatican. At the exact era that science was allegedly replacing the Vatican's teaching that the earth was the center of the universe and the solar system, the Roman Catholic Church was planning to build the very first large observatory of the heavens. Now, why would it be necessary for them to look into the heavens? What are they looking for?
It's a good question.
It says Galileo.
They got the books.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What'd you say?
I said the clip before that said that they have all the old books.
They have
so
everything.
They really know. They know a lot.
They know a lot. Just like when we pulled out the book of King Og.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was and he was talking about the Israelites.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was literally talking about the Israelites. And what did he call
them? Names. He called them black. What another name he used?
He said black fecal matter. He said you all are nothing but a bunch of black fecal matter.
Fecal matter.
Oh my!
They took that away real quick, didn't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you think they don't have the books and the information about us and who we are and what's supposed to happen?
Mm-hmm.
They got the books. Somebody was getting ready to say something.
Yeah, the portion you had before this one, if you go back, can you go back? Can I just read that again?
Sure. Which one? This one?
Yes. Okay, so this paragraph here, would it have anything to do with the scripture in Revelation 13:13 about causing fire to come from heaven? The great wonders that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, definitely does.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It definitely does. We're working up to that. Yes, ma'am. Galileo built his telescope at nearly the same exact time in 1609. Galileo built his first telescope by learning how to grind his own glass to make his star viewer. It says 3 years ahead of us. As it happens, Pope Francis is 3 years ahead of us. If an expedition of Martians arrive and some of them come to us, and if one of them says, me, I want to be baptized, what would happen? The Pope said during morning mass, May of 2014. Now, why would the aliens need to be baptized? Because we know they're not aliens. What are they really called?
Demons?
Fallen angels.
The angels, the fallen angels, yeah.
Spanning centuries. Now watch what it says. startling new evidence implicates the Jesuit order as a mastermind behind the deception spanning centuries. This article would trace the actions and influence of the Jesuits' involvement in perpetrating this lie. What lie are they talking about? Changing your
Jesuit, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes, ma'am, you're on the right track. The Pope we have right now is the first Jesuit Pope that we've had. It says the purpose has been to change the perception of the masses regarding the earth, the authority of the Bible, the universe, and the Creator's position in it.
Whew. Wow.
He writes the Creator.
This is crucial, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
This is the Jesuit order. This is what they plan. This is the lie. We can really get into it. It says the delusion. This change lays the groundwork for the overwhelming delusion shortly to come upon the world under the first woe or the fifth trumpet prophesied in Revelation chapter 9, the demonic alien invasion. People say, what, an alien invasion? Watch what Hitler says. This is a quote from Hitler. He says, in the big lie, there's always a certain force of credibility. Because the broad masses more readily fall victim to the big lie than the small lie, since they themselves often tell small lies in little matters, but would be ashamed to resort to large-scale falsehoods. Watch what he says. He said the distortion. It would never come into their heads to fabricate colossal untruths, and they would not believe that others could have the imprudence to distort the truth so infamously. It says they refuse to accept. Even though the facts which prove this to be so may be brought clearly to their minds, they will still doubt and waver and will continue to think that there must be some other explanation. Don't we go through that when we try to tell our people what's going on with us and that we Israel?
Yeah.
They make up all kind of, no, you can't, no, you trick.
They say we are out of our minds, delusional.
You go. This is the one I got recently. You're going too far. You're going too far.
Yeah, they said you done lost your mind. Something wrong with you in the cult. They do.
I got that one last week.
He said, for grossly impudent lies always leave traces behind it. Even after it has been nailed down, a fact which is known to all expert liars in this world and to all those who conspire in the art of lying. He said no matter how much you tell them, if you continue to tell them, they're not going to believe you no way. Because nobody would ever believe that anybody would go that far. Yeah. I go through that about the reptilians. I was like, you know, those are real people. Look at me like, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. They hang up. When we start teaching about that, we might have 3 people on the line before it's all over with. Everybody hang up like, oh, no, she going all the way to the left. I'm not listening to that under no. They do, I'm telling you. You hear the dings, like ding, 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 ding.
But see,
wait a minute, we done lost about 4 people already.
But see, that just shows you how our mind is so so messed up. I mean, wow.
Brainwashed.
Yes,
brainwashed.
Deeply brainwashed. I mean,
brainwashed.
And then guess what they say? I didn't see it on TV. That's the first thing.
There you go, brainwashed.
They say, I didn't see it on TV. They don't want to believe that there could possibly be a conspiracy. Nobody wants to believe that people can come together and create a conspiracy and keep it going all this time. Most of the pastors say, well, I would already know about that. Ain't no way God would have told me by now. God would have told me what was going on. Well, he would have told all of us, but we all swallowed the lie.
Now, the irony of it, the TV tell you don't believe it.
Right. He would have told us all. But guess what? We all got caught up in it. Everybody done got caught up in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part of the coming out of the truth. You have to sit on the side of the bed for a moment and rub your head and be like, I can't believe I didn't see that.
That is so true. Now, that's true.
I went into isolation. I don't want to talk to nobody until I get this together. I'm like, man.
As much as you were involved in it, you had to go sit on the side of the bed and be like, man, I can't believe it. And then you go through the period where you try to make some of it real. Some of it got to be real. At least a part of it got to be real. And then you have to keep telling yourself, he said we were going to be made to serve other gods of wood and of stone. He told us. It's just unbelievable. But guess what? When the Most High tricked you, you tricked for real. He is the master puppet maker. He don't play.
Wow.
As many times as we done shouted around that church and spoke in tongues and felt and just knew our spirit was feeling good, please. Hard to believe. It was hard to accept. That's what he said. People don't want to accept it. They can't accept the fact that something could have been put together and intricately woven together so perfectly to the point where they was tricked. They said, no, it's got to be an explanation. I just refuse to believe this was me.
Not forgetting that Satan is very clever. clever.
Very much so.
Second in command. Third in command. I'm like, come on.
Yes. Past the generation. A globe Earth is unproven pseudoscience, but is believed worldwide. It is a huge lie that has taken on a life of its own, being passed from generation to generation. This is what they're saying.
And you know, kind of stuff happens. But we know that there are things that go on like that, and we believe it, but we can't believe who we are and what we should be doing, you know.
Exactly. The difficult part about who we are. Because you know why? It's easier for us to believe the lie because it makes us feel good. To believe that you've been tricked and to believe that none of that is real, it makes you. That's why a lot of pastors, and I love my brothers and sisters, and especially the pastors, they're beginning to wake up, but they haven't gone through the detachment process yet because they're still in it. And you know what I'm saying? And they're preaching in it, and then you look at them like, you got to come out.
Because I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just ran across another ministry from a pastor that's allegedly just awakened that, or not now knowing the truth, but he's still mixing that Christianity along with. And I'm like, brother, you're still mixing it. So it's like that's a little discouraging. You see that, but then again, I guess he's waking up too, so I have to remember that too. But he's still mixing heavily that Christianity stuff in it. Although he's saying, we are the Israelites and Deuteronomy 28 and all that other stuff, but he's still mixing that Christianity in it.
Yeah. And you look at it and you're like, okay, well, we understand that you're coming into the knowledge.
Right.
And everybody hopes that you come all the way out.
Right.
But if you stay all the way in and you're still talking about it, then you have become a part of the deception.
Yes, exactly.
Because the issue, which brings me back to my point that I made earlier today in Galatians chapter 2, verse 8, when the Most High sets the order, he says, I sent Peter to the Israelites, and I sent Paul to the Gentiles. We still have yet to know what it was that Peter was to tell us. And I still believe that, and I still believe this, being in a captive state, even in a captive state, there's more to the story than what we've been told. Because even if just say, for instance, we weren't in captivity. Some of you all that have been in Christianity, like myself, have gone through the motions just like I did and did everything that you thought was right, and we still didn't produce the results that the Scripture said we were supposed to.
Right.
And when you went to question why, it was always your fault. And it's like, no, it's something missing here that we don't have, a component to the equation that is missing. And now that you realize the captive state we're in and the collusion that went on to keep us in the captive state, he wasn't going to give it to the Gentile either. They conspired to lie. And it was a great conspiracy. They deliberately lied.
Yes.
Brother Donnie, I said they murdered us, maimed us. What'd you say, Brother Donnie? How you say it? I hope he's still with us. I don't know if he would.
They murdered, maimed, and I forget. You understand? They lied, cheated, murdered, and maimed us.
Raped us.
Yeah, they did all kind of stuff to us. And wait a minute. And then we come over here and accept their version of Christianity. We get saved under their version of Christianity, and then he's going to give them the formula to heal the sick and raise the dead. I don't think so.
In the kingdom.
Just like he didn't give it to us.
Yes.
It's something missing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that once we complete our captivity and we finish this thing, then he will be able to take us to another level in our minds and get us right so that we can work and do mighty exploits. But you know, if they had the power to do exploits, you think they charging now and the stuff is fake. Imagine the stuff working. You really wouldn't be able to afford it. All the pastors that have gold toilet seats.
Well, it's so sad.
The Most High knew what he was doing. And even though the book is powerful in itself, and it's a powerful book because it's our book, it's our history book, he deliberately left some stuff out for such a time as this.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's producing the results that it say you're supposed to. And everybody's making excuses from the Gentile to the Hebrew. Everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
This is a powerful thing right here. When you talk about the order that he placed this thing in, he said that he gave Peter the keys to the kingdom, but don't nobody know what it was or what he did. Just like the wealth is hidden. The wealth is hidden too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I believe that.
I believe it too.
No, we have to understand who we dealing with. Yah is very powerful in his thoughts, his perceptions, and his actions. Nothing catches him off guard, and he is never confused. Never. He's never confused. He knew exactly where we was going to be, when we was going to be here, and what state we were going to be in. And he knew the people who were going to keep us in this state. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't by chance that this thing is like it is. This was orchestrated and set up by the Most High.
Do you remember what he said to Abraham? He said that he was going to bring a peoples from the far off north, from the northern country, a people with fierce countenance.
Yes.
A people void of understanding.
Yes.
Now, a people that our fathers did not know.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be any one of those places in the Middle East or around there because we knew all old people.
Oh, did. And we walked in there too, didn't we?
Yep.
You're absolutely right, Brother Sonia. Absolutely right, Sanaya. Absolutely. So when we understand how deep the conspiracy goes, how deep in the conspiracy that Psalms 82? Psalms 83? Is it 82 or 83?
83.
83. Psalms 83. I apologize. Sometimes I get those confused. When you come to the conclusion that these nations got together and conspired against us.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
They still conspiring today. We don't have no seat in the UN. There's no nation of Yehudah in the UN.
That's right.
All we have is a state of Israel that they got together and created in 1948. But there's no nation of Yehudah.
And that right there is a falsehood, a lie. You understand? There's no nation of Yisrael. You understand? I mean, those are Jewish people, Europeans. You understand? That taking on the ways and have stole our identity. You understand? That's who's in there. But they don't have no black folks standing up for us as.
You better say that again. You better say it. Ain't nobody. Only black people in there is Ham. And guess what? Some of the Shemites.
Exactly.
But guess what? They own too. So when you realize that, that's why it says mocked and ridiculed. Anyone who dares question it is mocked and ridiculed. Vladimir Lenin reported, I observed, a lie told often enough becomes the truth. And we even believe that truth.
That is correct. You know, I just heard this the other day. It says, the powerful have no room for truth.
No, because they want control. And in order to have control, you got to tell a lie.
Yeah.
It says in 1540, the Jesuits. Now we're going to get into the Jesuits. It says the Jesuit order was established in 1540 under the approval of Pope Paul III, the very pope with whom Copernicus had corresponded regarding calendar reform, and to whom Copernicus dedicated his book, Revolution of the Heavenly Bodies. Watch what they say. Very important. And this is some of the pictures that they have and they painted, and these are supposed to be spaceships. So this ain't the first time that this has been happening. This has been going on for a while. Changing the scriptures. The newly formed Jesuits were perfect instruments to effect a clandestine operation, changing public perception of the authorities of the scripture, the earth, and the Creator. Demon spirits. The difference between the Jesuits and all other Catholic orders was that the Jesuits deliberately invited demonic spirits into their followers.
Wow.
I'm getting ready. Like I said, you want me to send you where I got the information? I will be more than happy to send it to you. But we going there. Let's see what it says. Spiritual exercises. This was done through the spiritual exercises of the Jesuit founder, Ignatius Loyola. These spiritual exercises made them virtual, mind-controlled slaves. Be as a corpse. In their own words, they were to be as a corpse or a cadaver to unhesitantly obey the will of their superiors. Demonic intelligence. When the Jesuits deliberately opened their mind to the influence of demons, it brought in a spirit of evil and a demonic intelligence that was unprecedented in Catholicism. Extremely successful. It also made the Jesuits extremely successful in every undertaking, because human life is so fragile, individual lives are so short, no one person or even groups of persons can plan and implement the long-reaching evil that the Jesuits have perpetrated upon the world. They became infamous. Guided and inspired by supernatural demonic intelligence, the Jesuits became infamous for their adeptness to deception and subterfuge. They infiltrated everywhere. Their ability to infiltrate governments and institutions of learning, the influence they wielded standing as advisors to kings and leaders in education. They controlled the narrative. Working through government entities and educations, they have been able to guide scientific research to further their own end and present the biggest lie of all, a globe Earth, which they trying to say that the Earth is not circular, but I don't believe that either. There's no way, because that has to be wrong anyway, because how can the demons be inside of the Earth if it's flat?
That's right.
Doubt the word. As long as people accept Scripture cosmology of the Earth as a fixed, immovable mass under a protective covering, there was no foundation on which to build lies designated to make human minds doubt the word of Yah.
Oh, so that's where that flat Earth theory came from.
Yes, ma'am. Enemies of the Bible. Listen what it says. By decreasing people's trust in the dependability of the Bible, it curiously increased confidence in the Pope as heaven's appointed authority on what to believe. The Jesuits have always been enemies of the Bible.
Wow.
Wonder why? This is something.
Wow.
Wonder why? Because it's our history book.
And that may be why, in the Catholic Church, they really don't read the Bible.
No.
They just go by whatever the bishops and the Pope say, what the Pope say, and pass down to the bishops and the priests. They don't really read it for themselves.
No. No, absolutely not. No.
I wonder what your catechism is about.
I'm sorry, say again?
You know that they always were supposed to have something called catechism.
Yes, ma'am.
Teaching. It makes me wonder what that was about. If they don't read the Bible really, and when you stop to think about it, they don't. They just repeat what is said to them or what they are told to say.
Right.
So I don't know what this catechism would be about. That's their, I guess, learning about their religion or whatever.
Bible study. That's supposedly Bible study.
Yes. Exactly. So then think about it. The Catholics have their own Bible. The Muslims have their own book. Who else? The Jewish people have their own book. You know?
The witnesses have theirs.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, when you really think about it, now the Christians have the Bible, but again, when Yah closes your eyes are closed for real. Watch what it says. Decreasing to increase. Since the Catholic Church ranks papal decree and the tradition above scriptures anyway, decreasing confidence in the scriptures increases confidence in the pastors, priests, and the Pope as authorities that know more than the common man can.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. And for some of you all who are new, I mean, I'm sorry you can't see the screen. We will make an announcement for you to be able to see the screen because we have a sharing screen that you will be able to see. We will do that next week. I forgot to announce that this week, and I do apologize. But we have PowerPoint slides for you all to see, and we will definitely make that announcement next week. Watch what it says. Now, here's a picture of it. It says, Ancient Hebrew Conception of the Universe. This is the way it reads. This is Yah. This is the heaven of heavens. This is the gateway to heaven. And then these are the heavens. Then here's the water that separates the heavens from the earth. And then here's your sky. And you have your moon, and you have your sun, and you have your clouds, and then you have earth. And then underneath the earth is supposed to be the foundation of earth, and this is supposed to be Sheol, or the heaven, the hell of under the earth. This is his perception. This is the way we see things. Mm-hmm. But they want to tell you that that's not true. Let's see. Maybe Shauna says maybe flat means not a ball. Sanaya says that's why it's flat but circular like a disc with a clear dome like over it. I have no idea. I believe this concept.
I believe it's circular like a ball.
Me too, like this.
All the way around.
And it's not flat.
What scripture is that where it says the four corners of the earth?
They got the South Pole and the North Pole.
Right, absolutely.
No, there's a scripture that says that.
I'm going to find it for us when we get ready before we go.
Okay.
Somebody look it up, Google it for me. It says Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip smuggled hundreds of Nazi scientists, including top SS officers, on trial for war crimes into the United States for use in America's Cold War space race. Did you guys know that? He said head of NASA. One of these Nazi party members was Wernher von Braun, was promoted to head up NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, in which position he headed for the development of Saturn V booster rocket to win the space race with the Soviets. German scientists. Under Operation Paperclip, some 350 German scientists and former intelligence agents were given visas and well-paying jobs.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they gave us welfare and food stamps and called us lazy. Yep. They gave them jobs and they gave them visas and well-paying jobs. They lived good. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Many of the Nazi parties, many of those scientists had questionable pasts. Brahms himself had been an active member of the Nazi Party, and his colleagues at NASA, Dr. Herbertus Strughold, a specialist in aviation medicine, had performed experiments on concentration camp inmates. These are some of the same people that, oh my goodness gracious, it said, watch what it says, worldwide authority. The purpose of this massive and illegal undertaking appears to have been for the establishment of a worldwide authority on all things related to space and astronomy. The public face. NASA became the public face of space. It has long acted as a front, providing an unsuspecting world with a pseudoscience legitimized by the backing of the U.S. government. For more information on the fraudulent legacy of NASA, see the occult root of NASA and the ongoing fraud.
I'd like to say one thing about NASA.
Yes,
I was watching something today, and they put up the logo of NASA. And when you look at NASA, it actually has Satan in it because it's NASA, but going through there's an emblem that's a T, so it's actually Satan that's contained.
Wow, I'm gonna pull that up in a few minutes. Wow, I mean, you know, you just never pay attention because it's just they have your mind, a monopoly. NASA is its own monopoly. It controls the dissemination of public information on astronomy while hiding facts it does not want the public to know. NASA is in the news. Many countries and universities have observatories. It is always the statements, photographs, and discoveries of NASA that makes the news headlines. Watch what he says. The flow of information. With NASA in charge of the flow of astronomical information to the public, it appears that the Vatican has stayed a central player in the real true astronomy that is not being released to the public. They jointly own Lucifer for hundreds of years. The Vatican has owned the most telescopes and observatories of any organization, private, university, or government. NASA and the Vatican jointly own Lucifer, the world's largest binocular telescope. They don't tell you that. I'll tell you that.
Right.
These are German people that have done this. They don't tell you that. The oldest in the world, according to the official Vatican website, the Vatican Observatory is one of the oldest astronomical institutes in the world. And yet, where are the photographs? Watch what it say. Only they know. Where are the news releases of the latest discoveries? What have the Jesuit astronomers been doing for the last 500 years? Only they know. That's what it say. You know this guy. And they said he was black.
Yeah.
And he looked black, too. No, he looked like he got
like one of my cousins.
Huh?
He looked like one of my cousins.
It says the individual is handicapped by becoming face-to-face with a conspiracy so monstrous he cannot believe it exists. The American mind simply has not come to a realization of the evil which has been introduced into our midst. It rejects even the assumption that human creatures could espouse a philosophy which must ultimately destroy all that is good and decent. J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI. It was a quote in the Elks magazine, August 1956. And he's telling the truth. Nobody could believe that people could be that cruel. But they can.
Yes, they can.
They can. Now they locking them up and they putting them on these television shows. But you had a whole nation that was like that. It was. Baptized extraterrestrials. These statements are not that shocking when the Vatican, ever-evolving stance on science and space is understood. On May 12, 2014, Pope Francis expressed a willingness to baptize extraterrestrials who expressed the desire for baptism.
I heard that.
I'm laughing. I can't believe that.
In a joking manner, while the comment was clearly made, in a joking, tongue-in-cheek manner, it made international headlines with one headline crowling, "Baptized Martians. Cool Pope is so cool that he's willing to baptize Martians." The next result was that it removed the idea from the realm of science fiction and transferred it into the realm of possibility. All they have to do is introduce an idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. They got it down, this brainwash stuff. They have it down to the science.
It's a matter of the power of persuasion. And when you watch television, if you really watch television now with an open mind, you see that a lot of the things that they put on television is to promote the sale of some sort of product that's being produced by a corporation or a new entrepreneur or somebody that they're trying to market and to make them into millionaires. I watched it with Uber. Nobody knew what an Uber was, but I heard it being announced on one of the television shows. And the first thing people are going to say is, well, what is an Uber? And now everybody uses it.
Yeah.
And we have been made victim to participate in society. And I really believe that that's why they killed Martin Luther King. I believe that Martin Luther King was all right as long as he was just preaching, peace and everything. But when he started telling them garbage workers that they was going to boycott and mess with the economy, done.
When he told them to take black people put their money in the black bank, that did it.
That's what I'm talking about. You're going to take the money away from the economy? They wiped him out like, oh, no, we ain't finna have that. No, you ain't getting ready to do all that now. Watch. They will accept the concept. He said by the very act of talking about it, as though it might be a possibility, the mind becomes more accustomed to the concept.
There you go. There you go. And that's why we have the type of movies that are coming out now. Those movies are conditioning us or conditioning our kids to get accustomed to the idea. So when this thing actually happens, it won't be a, quote-unquote, such a shock because you've already been conditioned to that idea.
Exactly. And they've done that throughout our whole life.
But that's the energy that goes with that, too.
Say again?
I said that's the energy that goes with that, too.
Yes, ma'am, it is. Just put it out there. Put the perception out there and see what the people think. It's the same way with the Hebrew Israelites. If the men get together long enough and say, women, shut up, guess what's going to happen? The women are going to feel like they can't speak. The Bible says it's sin. All it takes. It's rhetoric. But if it's spoken out long enough, and they speak it with enough authority to make you think it's real, you'll be able to say, well, I'm just not saying nothing, and I'm just going to be quiet. It's all manipulation. That's what it's called.
Yes, it is.
Exactly. And if you remember, they introduced when the first term that Barack Obama won, that particular night that he won, they introduced the concept that night of the hologram.
Yeah.
Remember, on CNN, they had, what's the guy's name, Wycliffe or Eucliffe or whatever his name is. They had him in the CNN center with Anderson Cooper, but he was there via hologram.
Yeah, I can believe that. I believe that.
I watched it. I saw it. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Whoa.
The man wasn't even there for real. It was just an image that made it look like.
Exactly.
I believe it.
And they've had concerts of Tupac on a hologram.
I saw that.
Yeah, they did. I've seen that.
I saw that. Powerful.
That design of that coil, that CERN design, that thing is popping up. The kids, I deal with young kids, and they're talking about, oh, Miss Candace, about their coils and all. I'm like, wow. They're showing these books that they have. I said, let me see what you're reading. Hold on, I got one right here. It's these Japanese, Chinese books. One's called Dimension W. It's a series of them because I told her, let me look at it. And if you look at it, it's like it has pictures in it. And all the designs is the designs of that coil of that CERN. So they're getting them used to it.
Yes,
this is all what's in this book.
It's powerful. And they're doing it to the kids first. Yeah. So all they have to do is drop the thought down into their mind, and it becomes a reality. And guess what you have to do? You have to go back behind them and deprogram your own children.
And undo it. Like that little toy, it's called a fidget. They spin in their hands. It spins. I don't know. Did you see it?
And every kid got one now.
Yeah, those things, the spirit dropped to me. I did when I first seen it. I said, oh, my goodness. I said, that looked like a little hypnotized thing. They just sit there instead of reading a book. They're sitting there spinning. It doesn't make any sense.
That's supposed to help kids with, like, ADHD and autism. It's supposed to help them to concentrate and slow down. But if it's for those kids, why every kid has one?
Exactly. Unbelievable. But guess what they're getting you ready for? They're getting you ready for the occult. They're getting you ready for magic. I told you magic was coming. They're getting you ready for magic. You're getting ready to step into the unknown. They're talking about increasing the conscious level so that you will be prepared. Well, when they let these demons come through, it won't be anything new out of the norm.
They'll be ready.
It's just like this said, by the very act of talking about it, as though it might be a possibility, the mind becomes more accustomed to the concept. It says a 5-day conference. After the Vatican hosted a 5-day conference on the possibility of extraterrestrial life, Roman Catholic priest Father Jonathan Morris appeared on U.S. Fox News to answer some of the questions. Change the church. The priest's statement revealed the hidden agenda pursued by the Jesuits since the day of Copernicus. When asked how it would change the church doctrine, if it could be established that intelligent extraterrestrial life actually exists, Morris replied, that would definitely make us go back and say maybe our understanding of the perennial, lasting for an indefinite long time truth needs to be updated. Now the way we look at this. He said, now the way we look at it is this. Watch. It's not about whether God was the creator, but rather how he created. It's not a question of whether original sin, this Adam and Eve story is true or not, but our understanding of how that played out. So it's growing in our understanding of perennial truth. So they get ready to question all of it. They're going to spin it in another direction. They can't say God didn't exist because the whole Christian Catholic thing will walk away from them. But they're going to put a spin on it. They can't say that the Adam and Eve story wasn't true, but they're going to implement some more stuff involved in it.
Like I said, the powers that be have no need for truth.
Trying to say, so have we really been past the firmament? I believe that they've been at some point. I don't know how far they've gone. I don't know. It says the secret plan, the Vatican secret plan for the arrival of an alien god, secret files in the Vatican library, the reality of the alien presence, the private documents detailing the Vatican's position on the extraterrestrial project Lucifer, and the hidden quest for the fallen star. They're waiting on it. Rome awaits Lucifer. The year top astronomers say the alien world and its inhabitants will be divulged. The Collins elite, occultism, and the covert breeding and hybridization program, what top government and Vatican's officials told authors about the reality of UFOs and ETIs, extraterrestrial intelligence. Alien contact. there is a rumor going around about the moment that the Vatican Pope is about to announce to the world that they are preparing for alien contact. But how true is this? Is it a completely different question? Let's see. A galactic partnership. He spoke today at Contact in the Desert 2005, a landmark UFO conference in Joshua Tree in South California, where he described what would be a historic papal encyclical decree calling for nothing less than the disassembly of the power structures that are destroying our civilization and preventing us from joining an enlightened galactic partnership.
What? I don't understand that.
They're getting us ready to become partners with the powers that be.
Well, how's he calling for a dissimulation?
Of the power structures that are destroying our
the government
and preventing us from joining in. So, in other words, all of the governments, they're talking about a one world government now. There's not going to be individual power structures. It's going to be a one world government where everybody joins in, and when they come, we all come together as one big happy family.
Okay.
But doesn't galactic also mean out of space?
Out of space. That's what I said. When they come.
Yeah.
Hold on. Here we go. Crazy. That is crazy. Discovery and contact. Watch this. We almost at the end. According to constitutional and public interest lawyer and educator Daniel Sheehan, the Catholic Church is actively preparing for the discovery of and contact with a highly advanced sentient alien species. Alien disclosure. Sheehan's speech started with a summary of his work as a people's advocate for alien disclosure that has included access to classified sections from Project Blue Book, which supposedly contains photographic evidence of a downed craft with alien symbols. Avoid chaos. Sheehan went on to describe how Pope Francis wants to avoid the kind of chaos that engulfed the Catholic Church during the time of Galileo, when it was revealed that the earth is not the center of the universe. Integrate the reality. For the next major shift in human consciousness, he wants to position the Catholic Church and the Jesuit order to integrate the reality of alien existence as well as the evolution of a sixth faculty of human consciousness. He's trying to get everybody prepared. This is what he's doing. Watch he say, a new form of religion. This sixth faculty will constitute a new form of religion and a new form of contact between humans and advanced telepathic aliens. 100% preparing. Daniel Sheehan, constitutional and public interest lawyer, believes that the Catholic Church is now 100% actively preparing for the discovery and contact with a highly advanced alien species. Disclosure Day. Times are changing for religion and the acceptance of aliens, and it is the leaders of each religion that have a responsibility to help educate the masses before Disclosure Day. Somebody said, what'd you say? You said,
I know, really.
And this is it. That's it.
Do you guys remember just a couple of weeks ago when Donald Trump, he went to Jerusalem, then when he left there, he went to Vatican City, and he stood up with the Pope, and he just kept pounding that Islam, Christianity, and Judaism serve the same God. They all serve the same God. He kept pressing, they all serve the same God. And I said to myself, okay, he's being indoctrinated into that one world religion.
But now let me ask you this question, and I want to ask you this with all honesty, and I want everybody to think about it. Did he tell the truth?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah,
he told the truth.
That's Trump.
And that's the hardest pill to swallow. The man told the truth.
I don't think he told the truth. But
no, he don't.
He don't. But he did. He just followed the script. But he don't really know he told the truth.
He told the truth. And that's the hardest part for us to be able to accept the fact that that is the truth. It's just a question is, which God is it? Because it can't be the one that's not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Oh, it's not him.
It's not him. All of them serve Lucifer. And I'm telling you, when I told my sister that, she got so upset with me. She said, I'm not serving Lucifer. I don't know what you... I said, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
There you go.
I'm not going to do, because I know you're not ready for this, but okay. But, everybody in it knows something is wrong. Everybody in it knows that they're not producing the results. And it's like the man said, when you're presented with a lie, everybody wants to find another explanation for it. They refuse to accept the fact that it's been a lie. Because everybody wants to make it's got to be another explanation. Or they'll come up with an excuse and say, well, it's got to be you. It can't be God. It's not working because it's you. It's something you're doing wrong that is not working. And then I just came to the conclusion that if that's the case, it's something that nobody can live. Because if we're doing everything in our power to do what's right, how is it me? Until you come to the Most High begins to open up your eyes and make you understand that this is some place that he put you in. He said you will be made to serve other gods of wood and of stone. And you have to keep telling yourself that scripture. You will be made to serve other gods of wood and of stone. He made us serve other gods of wood. And then eventually it'll click, other gods. Other gods. He's telling us it's another God in there. But it has to click. Or else you're going to still be functioning trying to make it work.
Staying on the hamster wheel.
Say that. Say that again, Sister Levia.
Staying on the hamster wheel.
On the hamster wheel, just going round and round and round and round and round and round and round. Because you refuse to accept the fact that it's a lie.
Yep.
Isn't that what the man said? They refuse to accept the fact that it's a lie.
Yep.
Because most people don't want to accept that. They refuse to come to that conclusion.
I have a question, please.
Yes, ma'am. This is question and answer time. That's why I left some time open.
Just from listening to everything that you've read and everything that you've said, what is the difference then between the Jesuits / I'm going to say Catholicism and the Zionist Jews and Kabbalah? Because all this stuff sounds the same to me, or they have the same agenda. They're just coming from two different angles.
I'm going to say it again. They all serve the same God. There is no difference.
Okay.
There is no difference. Everybody wants to make it be a difference and make it seem like it's a difference, but there is no difference.
No, it didn't sound like it was no difference. That's why I was like, wait, whoa, don't sound different to me. Okay.
But it's hard for people to accept that because, like the man said, and I'm getting ready to bring it back up again, here it is right here. It says, even though the facts which prove to be so may be brought clearly to their mind, they will still doubt and waver and will continue to think that there may be some other explanation.
Let me go a step.
Wow.
That's the truth.
Let me go a step further, Sister Yana. Do you remember about a year ago, we was talking about how the fallen angels, they have a lesser God, lesser evils, and greater evils. You understand? And so the Jews are under that greater evils, and then they come to Catholicism. You understand? Which is the Christian church. Which is a Catholic church. You understand? Then it becomes Muslim. You understand? Which is a lesser evil. But the Jews is the greater of the evils.
I guess so, Brother Donnie. If you say so, I can believe that.
But what happens, you got to read in the scriptures where it talks about how Esau is behind the whole circumstances and situation. You understand? Because what they did was, you understand, they were Khazars. Not Esau, but the European was the Khazar. And Esau worked behind the scenes with all of those nations. It's written. It's not necessarily in the scriptures, but it's in the scriptures, but worded differently. How all of this transpired. You understand? Because remember now, Esau hated Jacob. You understand?
And then wonder why the hatred is there so bad for the woman. It's got to be something that the woman is supposed to do that they don't want it done. Gotta be.
That's because they bring practicality to the whole situation. They can say, man of a Hebrew agenda is based off of ego. But the woman, you understand, slaps them back in place with practical stuff. You understand? Realism. See, we'll jump and do something, you understand, based on our ego. You understand? But the woman will tell you, hey, let's look at it from the realistic point of view. You understand? And that's where the woman comes in and brings it back into perspective. You understand? A man will jump off the deep end in a minute, but the woman will say, hey, hold it. Before you do that, think about it this way.
When you think about the lie, it's just been so many lies that have been told from going from backwards to forward. And you understand how deep the rabbit hole goes. It is so deep. The rabbit hole goes so deep. And then you wonder how many people are willing participants and those who just are in the dark. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the scripture said, know those that labor among you. You got to know what you're involving yourself in. Because there's a lot of things going on. And believe me, if the Most High allowed us to be in this situation, and you have to always remember, this is He orchestrated this for us to be here. He put us in this position, and as He begins to wake us up, we still have to go through a deep programming process. And it takes sometimes years to get through that. It's like, damn. And then when you finally get through it, you still sitting on the edge of the bed saying, how did I let myself do it? I don't understand. And like Brother Donnie said to me one day, he said, well, have you seen it work one time? And it stuck. I had to think about that like, well, have you seen it work one time? You know what I'm saying? And you really have to ask yourself that. Have you seen it work at least one time the way the Bible said it's supposed to work? I've had my friends call me and say, I don't understand. This ain't working. I've been giving and paying and giving, and the windows of heaven ain't opened up and poured me out.
Hallelujah. I'm telling you.
Well, let me go a step further. I'm still stuck on the flat earth. You understand? How could it be a flat earth? How could it be a flat earth if we got a North Pole, we got an equator, and then we got the South Pole? How does that work? How does the flat earth work?
The sun and the moon. Right, exactly. And I'm just laying, like I said, I'm just laying the information out before you.
But the point I'm trying to make is, if we keep on believing what somebody say, you understand? Like they got that flat earth is on the internet. You understand? And a lot of people is going, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, now that's right.
A lot of Hebrew Israelites are teaching about the flat earth.
They sure do.
That's how I ever heard about it. I'm like, what?
As in Genesis doesn't say it's flat.
There's a scripture in Daniel 11 I think they use too. Daniel 4:11.
What?
Okay, let's see. I got
it says,
what I'm trying to make is that, you understand, they always want to bring stuff to the table, and if it's not questioned, it becomes law. It becomes fact.
Brother Donia, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the women, too. If don't nobody stand up and say, you are telling a bold-faced lie, everybody's going to go ahead and the women going to go in the corner, and they will never be able to produce what Yah wants them to produce. That is exactly my sentiments, and that is exactly what I went before Yah went, because I'm telling you, it is a spirit that's out there trying to stop that female energy from going forward, and they got a bully spirit with it too. Like the girl said, alpha males just out there, and you sit down and shut up. I'm like, excuse me? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, you know about that.
That's I guess it seems like a form of oppression. It
is.
But I can appreciate those brothers being out there trying to spread the word, but I wish they would drop some of that behavior,
Well, that's true. I mean, but like he said, all you got to do is add a little credibility with it, and because the masses more readily fall, then we falling victim to the lie.
It's funny how you say it, because what happened was I was on the internet just yesterday, and they had a brother, he was one of those street preachers, and he admitted that he was saying stuff out of his mouth to the women that was dead wrong, that he shouldn't be saying it, you understand? But he also tried to clean it up with some of them need to be talked to like that. And I say to myself, and I didn't get a chance to what's the name, is that we've been chained, whipped, beaten, maimed, and murdered. Man, we don't need to be ridiculed by our fathers and our brothers and sisters, you understand, who's trying to get us to come back to the Almighty. How does that work?
It don't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Well, what they don't understand is that they are operating in a slavery mindset. Because in the beginning of slavery, that's what they did. They elevated the women and they degraded the men because they figured the mother is the teacher of the child. And if we can degrade her man, and kill him in front of her and the rest of the crew, she will then put her boy child in check. Don't do that. Don't say that. So what they're doing is the same exact thing that the oppressors did, and they're using the wrong scripture as far as what Paul was telling the Corinthians. He was telling this to the Corinthian Gentile people, and they were unlearned in scripture. They were all screaming out, hollering out, asking questions, whatever. He was like, let me talk to these men. Women, ask your husband questions at home. They take that and have made a full doctrine out of it, not knowing that when Yeshua resurrected, who was the first person saw him when he was resurrected?
Who was the first one
it was Miriam.
Mary,
that's who saw him first. And then she tells her, go tell the brethren.
He sure did.
Okay. What about the woman at the well? What about the woman at the well? She went back to her town and practically evangelized the whole city, saying, I met a man that knew everything about me. The whole city then turned around and wanted to see this man. Okay? So I don't even listen to that, because we can go back and what's her name? Moses' sister was a prophetess.
Well, Esther too.
A prophetess can't not talk.
Didn't Esther rule over Israel?
Yeah, there you go.
That's right. And AB said Isaiah 40:22 says, He sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and not a globe. Isaiah 22:18 says,
wow.
Turn and toss thee like a ball. circle and ball are two different descriptions. So
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We have, but like I said, when you have a people that control the narrative, then this is what you get. And you have the masses believing in this. All you got to do is put a little bit of credibility behind it, and they fall victim. It's unfortunate, but that's what we have to deal with. Not only with that, but in Israel as well. Because we have to understand that this thing is also being orchestrated by the enemy. The enemy knows they cannot stop Israel from coming together. So what does he do? He puts another set in subjugation. Like you said, he's putting the women under oppression so that there's only one voice. And it's off kilter.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm not a man basher because I think it's beautiful to see our men out there with them Bibles and on that street corner. That just does my heart some good. But they are really cutting themselves short when they are restricting that woman from participating. But again, that's something the Most High going to do because this one going to talk. I'm going to talk. I'm going to do what he told me to do.
But the lens that they are sitting back there dealing with, saying the things that they're saying, is not the lens of the real Hebrews. They still are brainwashed. Now they have some truths, but it's still not totally open. Yes. We don't relate. We think of marriage and women's role like the United States do, the white folks do. And it's not like that. Our relationship is not like that. So they're still portraying that out there on the street, which is mostly Christianity.
Well, see, they have to keep a fan.
Those men have partnerships. Them women work. The ones that work, they work. They have women that work also.
See, what happens is they can say one thing that changes the narrative, but they have to come back to their fan base. They can't stand out there and say that the woman is, equal to man, only so far, because they have a fan base that they're preaching to.
And some of these got some very, very large followings, but nevertheless,
yes,
they do what they do.
Well, here's the thing, and it's the sad thing, and like I told you guys before, and I'm new to this, new, because I figure if you've just been in it less than a year, you still new. So I'm new,
right.
And when I first started hearing, about it and was researching it and going on YouTube, and I kept running up on these camps. Let me tell y'all, if I was not rooted and grounded, okay, some of these camps were so aggressive. And so aggressive, they almost ran me back to the church. I'm not lying. Because one thing about it, and I said one thing about it, I ain't never been in no church where it was this much discord in. Never in my life. And I'm almost 60 years old. Never. And I'm like, I can go back to church and have peace. And instead of, and it was confusing me. It was confusing me, and it was making me think, well, this can't be true. This can't be true. But I thank the Most High that he just kept me, kept me going, and I'm like, okay, I don't listen to them, anymore because it's foolish.
Yeah. It is foolish.
It's insane. You standing on the street, you cussing everybody out. You're not winning anybody. You're not enlightening anybody. You're making us look bad.
And wait a minute, let me say that. And now you have heard it. For all of you Hebrew Israelites that's listening to us, for all of you have your members coming on our show and listening, you heard it straight from somebody who just woke up. He is giving you her own private interpretation of what you look like in the street. And it's time to change that because we're doing more damage than we're doing good.
That's right.
One thing that I wanted to say also is that, you understand, you can't cut damaged people and just tear them all up and expect them to change their way. They're not going to do it.
Exactly.
It's more damage than you think. You understand? Them people they'll keep cussing you out. You understand? You got to show them a different way. You got to pamper them somewhat. You understand? You know, in order to get them to understand that what they're doing maybe is out of the norm and etc. You can't treat a people that was chained, whipped, beaten, maimed, and murdered, and then you cuss them out. How's that gonna work? I'm just trying to figure that one out.
But guess what? We don't even know ourselves. Exactly. Until this curse is over and this captivity is lifted, we still are under the mind of a cursed people. We are still under the curse, so we don't really even know ourselves. The fact that we have been able to even come to the consensus that we are Israel and that Jerusalem is our homeland is a miracle. That's Yah. So until we finish this curse, there's no way that we can have the mindset necessary to do anything, because guess what? The gospel has to come from us. The scripture has to come from us. All that stuff has to come from us. But nobody is going to preach anything until this is over.
Yeah, because it's sometimes they sound like they want to put the women back into slavery.
Oh my goodness! Like, stop it! You getting ready to cause something you really don't want to have to cause. Nobody, because guess what? All we have to do is go to y'all and cry out about all of this, because this is foolishness.
Yes.
It is. I told you I almost quit. I said, you know what? I got so mad. I was like, I quit. I'm not doing this no more. And then I thought about it. I said, I ain't quitting. I ain't going to quit. I'm just keep on going no matter what, because I'm not going to let nobody discourage me. You know, and I try not to listen to them either. You know, but it's like, I try my best not to. But it's like sometimes it's like I want to just go grab one of them and shake them and say, stop. You're doing more damage than you're doing good. This is not working.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, yeah. True.
Y'all show, like you were talking about, you always end it with that, and I appreciate you doing that too, because you always end it with the main thing that we have to do is learn to love one another, forgive one another. We need to pull it together, not talk about how old you're going to be the rape, you're going to do the raping to somebody and all. Don't want to hear that. We all want, be quiet and shut up. You might as well say, I'm going to beat you when I get home. I mean, you just left that part out. I mean, we need some love, some love and some peace.
A hug go way farther than a holler. Learn how to hug somebody. So these people are hurting. These people that walk up to you in these camps, on these street corners, and even begin to listen to you is a miracle. Some of these women getting beat up at home. Some of them being raped by their fathers. Some of them is being raped by but you just never know what people are going through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That when you come up, shut your mouth. You need to learn how to shut. It's like, oh, my goodness.
We're going to rape a 12-year-old. We can rape a 12-year-old. Look in the Bible. This scripture says 12 years old, I can rape her.
And
my God.
And I can marry a 12-year-old.
And guess what? That's a pedophile. So let me tell you.
They're there too. They're in Israel.
No children at no 12 years old or 3 years old or children, period. They read
exactly.
They read
the Talmud is just as bad. They're talking about a couple of months that they can. No, serious.
That's what the
it's in the Talmud. It really is.
The Talmud came from the fake Jews, and that's what I'm saying. They serve Lucifer, and those are the kind of things. God's people don't do that. Yah's people don't do that. We don't operate like that. And for people to get a joy out of saying that, for a man to get joy out of saying that, he's a pedophile. There's something wrong with him.
And he's not of God either.
Yes.
Even if you say he's an Israelite.
The Talmud was back there in Babylonian time. They had a Talmud that derived from Babylonian time till now. You understand? But the Talmud that they wrote up at that particular time has changed over the period of time. Now remember, we're dealing with the European, who is atheist in nature.
Right.
And they wrote up this new Talmud that speaks in that kind of vein. You understand? Or everything that if you read the Talmud, you understand, they have the 10 Commandments on one side, and they have the controversies that the Talmud speaks of on the other page, on the other side. You understand? And you'll see if you take a look at it for yourself.
So I mean, in knowing all of those things and bringing all of these things to some sort of a summary, we understand now that even the Catholic Church is waiting on somebody other than Christ. They waiting on somebody other than Christ. And like we said, they're not really Bible teachers, and now I understand why, because the Bible is really about us. It is.
They need to stick to that. They need to stick to all of that kind of stuff, teaching about us. They should not have no time to nobody else if they're talking about the Scripture.
So if the Bible teach about us, then the Bible also teach against them. So maybe that's why they don't want to be bothered with it.
That's right.
Exactly. And they know that. Because who want to hear that God don't like you?
Exactly. For what you did, or that He's going to come pay you back for the things that you did, the evil that you did. Because He paid us back for the evil that we did, and He said nobody is going to get away. Nobody's going to get back. Nobody.
That is correct. See, that's the problem that I'm having with the street preachers and all those different camps. They need to stick to the Scripture, period. You understand? Don't deviate, because there's no controversy here. You understand? The Scriptures tell you one thing, you understand, and there's nothing else if that's what you believe in.
Yeah, I agree.
But isn't there a scripture too that says not all that says Israel is Israel? So you get a lot of people out there that's not really Israel.
That's true. That is very, very true. So, knowing those things and knowing this thing, I hope that this has done you guys some justice and given you a little bit more insight. Now, next week we're going to do the Christians, and then the next week after that we're going to do the Hebrew Israelites, both Messianic and non-Messianic. So we will know, because like I said, everybody waiting on somebody, and they all coming from the sky. All of them is coming from the sky. And how great the deception is going to be. When they finally do come from the sky and do what they do, who do you believe? Because until we stop fighting each other and sit down together and use each other and do what's supposed to be done, we're not going to know. Because I look at the Hebrew Israelite church that they had. They got such and such an in Christ United Church, and this one is something Geo something in church and all that. And I'm like, that's not a church. Not according to the Scriptures, it's not. Because where is the fivefold ministry? Where is the apostle? Where is the preacher? Where is the evangelist? Where is the prophet? And where is the deacon? That's the fivefold ministry. Where they at? You don't have no prophet to give you no information. Because let me tell you something, the church is coming out equipped with all that stuff. You got people that's operating in the gifts. They got spirit of discernment. They operating in prophecy. They definitely operating in them too. And they coming out with all kind of stuff coming to their mind. So where is all of that at? Because all I see is teaching. Yeah. I don't see no preaching or anything. All I see is teaching. And them women is probably sitting up in them places full of gifts, and they just being smothered. Full of talents, and they just being smothered. It's being smothered.
Oh, they don't put them out front with it. They use them, but they don't put them out front. They don't allow them to speak.
And why not? Why not?
Because I think they're suppressing our power in Israel. I think that they're suppressing our power. They felt like we've been powerful enough out here.
They don't get to make that choice though, because y'all put us all through this. And guess what? Let me give you an FYI. Let me tell them something for an FYI. Let me give you some first-hand knowledge from a sister that did it. It wasn't no fun. Even though they put us up front and they gave us the jobs and they gave us the opportunity. We still wasn't equipped to be the mother and the father, and that was not no fun. Trust me, because it was lopsided. Just like this is lopsided, that was lopsided. So while you were sitting around being jealous of the fact that we was driving in the cars and we had to drive, we still had to raise the kids. We had to be the mother and the father, and that was not no fun. That sucked the very life out of us.
Absolutely.
So don't even think it was something easy just because we made it look easy, because it wasn't. We needed you all to be there. And you have a certain responsibility for not being there, too. So why don't we just forgive each other and do it together? How about that?
Yeah.
Let's try to do something different this time. Let's go against the norm and do it together. How about that? Stop hollering and hug.
Yeah.
Let's love one another, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. Because we don't hate you. We love our men. I do anyway. And I think that we can be mighty together. If we're of you, then we can be mighty together. We don't have to fight with each other. And I know some of y'all be sneaking on our show and on our radio show and on our classes, and it's all good. You can see.
But the thing is, let me go a step further, is that we've been indoctrinated. We've been incorporating all of the captivities that we've been in. We incorporated it in our culture.
That is true.
So what happens is that when we incorporate these things, you understand, if we don't see nothing different, then we continuously be inundated with all of those things that we've learned in 2,500 years. We use those same techniques. Some of our women are a little bit boisterous, you understand? But if we don't see no difference, if they don't see no difference, you understand, then they're going to keep being boisterous and loud and cutting the man down and et cetera. Same thing with the man, you understand? Because they don't see anything different, they will keep doing it, you understand? So when we talk about all these brothers on the street going through the scriptures and et cetera, they need to stay on the scriptures, because that shows a difference. Instead of combating every little thing that comes along, they need to leave that alone and stay with the scriptures and show the difference. You understand? Maybe we can learn something by doing that. You understand? We can't, but to cut each other down. You understand what I'm saying? What we're doing is we're doing the same thing that these other nations have shown us in our captivities. We've been out of our land for 2,500 years. We haven't hit a law.
A long time.
That's true. That's true.
And you know what we need? Let me make this announcement. You know, we do have a Facebook page. It is Facebook.com/Nation of Yehudah. And then we have a Twitter page, which is also Nation of Yehudah. And then we have a YouTube channel, which is Yehudah Project. And please, you know, like I said, I'm going to upload about 3 videos this weekend. I'm going to try to do 2 tonight and 1 tomorrow, so that we have something up there, because they need to hear this. They do.
Right.
They really do need to hear this, you know, and it's not fair. It's not fair for everybody else to go through this. And for you all that's on this phone, go to the Twitter page and tweet, you know, because we have a lot of people on here, a lot of powerful people. You know, a lot of music artists and everything is on here, on the Facebook and on Twitter. You know, so, you know, go in and make your presence known. You know, you don't have to know scriptures to be able to, you know, put something on there, you know, but we just want to, and then not to mention, we have our Blog Talk Radio show tomorrow. We have a Blog Talk Radio show tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and the phone number is 718-664-9551. We'll be there at 3:30 Eastern Time tomorrow with our Blog Talk Radio show, because we're trying to build this thing where we have something every day of the week. So when the people want to call in, whether you're coming into the consciousness and you're still in church, you still need to hear some things about us. Hear the history about who we are. Hear the Israelites talking. Because most of the time we're talking about our history, our captivity, the things that we've gone through, so that you can, when you're going through that process where you're sitting on the side of the bed saying, How in the world could I have been tricked? You don't realize you're not by yourself.
Yeah.
We all say the same thing. Because we all have gone through it. All of us have.
What is it on Twitter?
It's Nation of Yehudah. Just Nation of Yehudah. That's the Twitter. And then the YouTube is Nation of Yehudah. The Facebook is Nation of Yehudah. And then the YouTube is Yehudah Project. And so we, like I said, if you haven't registered to come to our conference, please do. It's in September the 2nd and 3rd, and it's going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio, especially some of you all that are in driving distance that can drive up for a few hours. Try to come down because this is the time that we come together and we get together. But like I said, this is the second one we're doing. We're going to do part 3 and part 4 of the deception, the great deception, and it may be more leaders that come forth that try to be the Messiah or the one that's going to lead us into the great deception, but at least we won't be completely oblivious as to who everybody's waiting on. Yep. Any other questions before we dismiss? Comments of any kind. And don't forget also we have our website is NOY Monarch, the word monarch, MONARCH.US. Go to our website, register on the website for the conference if you can't come. If you'd like to support, please donate on our GoFundMe page. For you all that are coming, we do not charge anything for you to come, but we ask everybody to donate something to help us out while we do this because we want to make sure that it's very nice. Again, our website is NOY for Nation of Yehudah, and then the word monarch, MONARCH.US, .us, what that is. It's .us. All right, everybody. If that's it, no one has any comments, I thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Shalom, shalom, everybody.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.